All right, so we are going to move on to applications of solving systems. Before we do that, let's just do a recap of how we've solved systems so far. First method was by graphing. The second method was substitution. The third method was elimination. And that really consists of two methods, addition and then multiplication, so that you can, let's just make an asterisk, divide. All right, so for the applications, for this part of the applications assignment, all we are going to do is define variables and write out what the equations would be. All right, so Nathan owns a trucking company. For every truck that goes out, Nathan must pay the driver $20 per hour of driving. Okay, so that's key information. And also has an expense of $2.75 per mile driven for gas and maintenance. On one particular day, the driver drove an average of 30 miles per hour, and his total expenses for the driver, gas, and truck maintenance were $820. Okay, so underlining all those things helps me to define the variables. It looks like I'm going to have H, that represents hours of driving. Oh, my writing is so bad. And then M, that represents the miles driven. So if I think about a system of equations, since it's $20 per hour, that would be 20 times H, which is the number of hours, and it's $2.75 per mile. Whenever you see the word per, that's going to be multiplication, so 275 times the number of miles, so that's M. And then whenever they give you a total amount of money, that's going to go on the other side. So there I have one equation. The other one's a little bit tricky. It has to do with the fact that he drove 30 miles per hour. So if it's 30 miles in 1 hour, and he drove H hours, then he would have driven a total of 30 times H. Oops. So the miles is going to equal 30 times the number of hours. So there I've got two equations with two unknowns. That would be one you could solve by substitution, because the M is solved for. Let's look at another one. A jeweler had a fixed amount of gold to make bracelets and necklaces. So this is telling me I'm going to have two different types of items. The bracelet is 6 grams. The amount of gold in each necklace is 16 grams. The total the jeweler used is 178 grams. And then we know that he made 7 more bracelets than necklaces. Or necklaces than bracelets, sorry. So now I know I have necklaces and I have bracelets. So N is going to represent the number of necklaces. And B is going to represent the number of bracelets. And I know that there's 6 grams in a bracelet, so 6B, and there are 16 grams in a necklace. The total grams that the jeweler had was 178. So there's my first equation. And now I know that there were 7 more necklaces than bracelets. So the bracelets plus 7 is going to equal the number of necklaces. Okay, the number of bracelets plus 7 more equals the necklaces. So there's my system. So all you're going to be doing on this assignment is coming up with variables, describing them, and then writing the system. So here we have Alexa. She went to the grocery store and purchased cans of soup and frozen dinners. So I've got soup and dinners. So that's going to be my variables right there, S and D. Each can of soup has 350 milligrams of sodium. Each frozen dinner has 650 milligrams of sodium. So Alexa purchased twice as many frozen dinners as cans of soup. Well, that tells me something right there. They all collectively, meaning a total, contain 660 or 6,600 milligrams of sodium. Okay, so S represents the number of cans of soup. D represents the number of frozen dinners. And you're going to have a drop-down menu of choices. You don't have to come up with that. So I'm going to have 350 milligrams of sodium in soup, and I'm going to have 650 milligrams of sodium in a frozen dinner. My total is 6,600. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern here. We have twice as many frozen dinners as cans of soup. So my dinners is going to equal 2 times the number of soup. So D equals 2S. All right, so in Delta Math, you're going to go to the applications of systems, and hopefully it's not this puzzle, meaning you get them correct because it's a long shot. Reach out if you have questions, folks.